G'day guys, back here with the Q&A. Now I'm going to call Jeannie Cooper. Jeannie Cooper has a question about, they've got a GSP pup on the way and they're just wondering if it can be trained jointly by two people. Both me and my hubby hunt, so a dog that responds to both would be really great. Can we tag team the training sessions? So really good question, another common question, and there's a lot of really good points that are going to come out of this that a lot of people get a lot of value out of. So we'll give her a call. Hi Jenny, Paul here.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for your call.
That's fine, thanks for the question.
No, we were really hoping that we could get a little bit of guidance on a GSP pup that we're thinking of getting. I'm wanting to know if we can dual train, so both me and my husband train at the same time.
Yep, no, that's a good question, and I mean, the super short answer is yeah, you definitely can, and I've had quite a bit of feedback on this from the blueprint from families, you know, we're in the same, I think this is the first one where I've had that definitely both hunt, but a lot of teams, you know, it's usually the guy that hunts, but their partner might get really involved in training, and it works really well around the house where, you know, and I just get positive feedback that it's awesome to have a dog that listens to us both, and we can just watch the blueprint together, sort of be on the same page, do the same stuff. So if you guys are going one step further and you're both actually hunting, then that'll be awesome.
Oh, and the other question we had, we've got a pretty competent 12-year-old who would quite like to be involved as well. She's watched a little bit and sort of can see that for her to be able to have as much time with the pup as she would like, it not being sort of the normal family pup who's constantly in the house and jumping around, and that she would like to be involved in that as well. I mean, how many people is adding a third going to be too much, like if she sticks to the routine, or is two probably best?
No, I mean, adding a third is fine, you know, and I think all in all, as long as everyone can sit down and watch and understand the blueprint and you're all on the same page, using the same commands, doing the same thing, I think actually the more people in the household that can be on board in doing constructive stuff, the better.
Okay, cool. I mean, is there anything that she could do that could completely screw up the system for us, or sort of if she makes a little mistake and doesn't sort of stand on the line fast enough after saying a command, it's not going to completely ruin the process for us?
Tiny little things like that, you know, if someone gets it wrong and you stand on the long line before you say the command once or something like that, you know, and then you go and you realise and go, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Like one tiny little thing like that isn't going to completely blow the whole thing. And
okay.
I've done one-on-one sessions with kids, you know, sort of 10 or 12, where someone's actually rung up and said, oh, my daughter really wants to get into training a dog. She doesn't necessarily want it for hunting, but I've just seen your stuff and I'm wondering if we can do a session with you and you can just show her as much as you can. And I've actually found kids 10, 12, 13, 14 and older pick it up really good, and sometimes 10 or a 12-year-old just looks at it more simply and just goes okay and just does it, and sometimes it might even be easier to teach than adults.
Yeah, they don't question the system, they just do what they're told.
They just do it, and it's because it is actually really simple. Really, and I mean, obviously, you know, the teaching of the commands, stop, go, turn, the basics of range and change of direction and those type of things that are in the blueprint. Obviously, later on, introduction to gunfire, scent training, and different things like that, it's going to take it might get a bit out of the depth of a 12-year-old, or definitely shooting and stuff definitely does, but as far as, you know, taking the dog for a walk almost every day and keeping on top of the range, and as long as she's not letting the dog hold tension on the long line, and she's sticking to those basic fundamentals, it's all really good constructive stuff, you know.
Okay, I know that's great. She's pretty sort of, her and her dad are pretty avid hunters, and I just kind of I'm in it so I don't get left behind. But she's pretty keen to kind of learn the system so that when she's a bit older, she can go off on her own with the pup when she's quite a bit bigger. But so that'll make her really happy.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I love that side of it. You know, it's starting years ago when I started doing one-on-ones. Straight away, people were saying, "Oh, is it alright if I bring my son or my daughter or my wife or all three?" And I've always been all for it because it's just a positive to me. If everyone can be on board constructively doing the same thing, it's just a positive, you know.
Well, sort of along that line, sort of when it comes to sort of the downtime, sort of the playtime that you give a pup, sort of I know that's no more than an hour kind of time. Can she be playing with the pup at that point, or is that going to confuse her role in the training?
It can, yep, and it all depends on your definition of play, you know, like as soon as it turns into sort of jumping up and it's getting a bit full on, it can start to have detrimental effects.
Okay.
And that's really, that's where it can get pear-shaped with kids, and I have seen it where, it's because it's that first year, particularly the first 6 or 8 months, is really setting up the way your pup or dog relates to humans, you know, and keeping it all nice and structured. And, you know, you can just walk and you can keep it nice and light and airy and not hammer out heaps of stop drills. You can just sort of walk, keeping your pup in range, stop to give them a pat, give them heaps of praise, and keep it light and fun without like rolling around on the ground with it climbing all over you and screaming and stuff. You know, there's so many different, it's all within reason.
Okay. So when sort of you saying sort of one of your programs about sort of them having some downtime, what does that look like for you and a family? Like we've got a 10 and a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
We've had some dog experience before, but it's only pet experience, or we've had a farm dog, but that was purely stock dog, not a family dog in any way. So those are the two. So they've never kind of had the in-between, which is what I kind of get the feeling that this is more the initial training that then can be turned into the family dog as the dog ages.
Yep.
So what does the downtime for a pup look like? Like, what should we expect that to look like? What can we make that look like to still maintain the training and still have a pup within the household?
Yeah, I totally get what you're asking there. For me, it looks like leaving Print outside on his own, or with Fly, or with leaving the pup outside on their own in a dog-proof area, either on their own or with another dog that isn't going to do anything crazy. So they're not going to let the pup swing off their ears without, you know, that real passive older dog that just stands there and let the pup chew it up and bark at it and all of that without doing anything. And it's also not a crazy dog that's going to dominate a young pup and give the pup sort of weird socialization issues around being, you know, scared or over timid around other dogs. So if you've got a dog-proof area, you can just leave the pup out on its own, and I really just keep an eye on them out the window, and might only do it for 5 or 10 minutes the first time, and really basically watch it the whole time. If it starts digging or something, I'll give it the command to disapprove it. I'll just out the window as soon as it does it, and I'm really watching it, trying to make sure that no bad habits kick in. And then as I learn to trust them, I give them a little bit more time. So there's just that heavier training session. It's really good if you can have, when you are giving your pup or dog these freedom sessions, off the long line, out of the kennel, just cruising. It's really good to separate them from training. So if you look at it, at least 30 minutes in the kennel before and after a training session. A really important thing here that you can come really unstuck with your long line training or range training is when people decide, I'm going to give my dog 10 minutes free time after every training session, and they do all their long line work and they get back into the section and take the long line off and go, away you go, and the pup takes off like that. That's training your pup that the long line coming off is a signal to go crazy.
Okay.
And that's just one thing to be really careful of when talking about this subject. But other than that, so if say you go for a training session, get back, put the pup in the kennel for 30 minutes, and then so this is what I do with Print, and then I come out after 30 minutes and just let him off and walk inside and just let him cruise for 10 minutes. So there's that.
So the best, both of our girls are really looking forward to having a pup. So the best way that they can actually bond is to be actively involved in the training, because the downtime is more downtime for the pup rather than just free-for-all playtime.
Yep, definitely, and that's what I was talking about. That's the other option here. Is it's not like full-on structured training, but it's not completely out of control playtime with the girls running around and screaming and the pup chasing them and jumping all over them and licking their face. The major ones is, as long as the girls know, jumping up is the big one. Really crazy pup jumping up and kids screaming, and then that's a reaction to jumping up, and you can get that real habitual jumping up on people there. The other big one would be trying to call the pup when it won't come, and getting into games of like the pup's got a stick or the pup's running around, sort of that cat and mouse type games of the pup chasing the kids or the kids chasing the pup type of thing. And if they're sort of going, come here pup, come here, and it's not coming, every time someone gives the pup or dog a command and it doesn't listen, is teaching it doesn't have to listen. So that's the other big one. As long as they're not giving commands and they're just sort of playing around, and they kind of know not to let the pup jump up, or once the pup's old enough and it's got all that in place that it's not jumping up, then they're actually fine to go out, sit on the grass and pat it and play around a little bit. It's not like you can never do that. But yeah, it's just rules, boundaries and limitations. It's just keeping it to a certain level.
Okay. So making sure that they know, they've been watching the videos with us, so just sort of watching that, and they can have a little bit more of a light kind of training than what we might necessarily do, so much lighter. And then sort of the downtime when the pup's a little bit older, that's not the jumping up and not the crazy, sort of just but much calmer.
Nice and calm. As long as it's nice and calm, that's the biggest thing. And they can actually have downtime with the pup off the long line. It's not even like a light training session, just playing around, but as long as it's all nice and calm and nothing crazy's going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Oh no, that's really good. Thank you. That answers an awful lot of our questions.
Cool.
Good.
A lot of people will get a value out of that too. It'll answer a lot of questions, especially over time. Once we post these things, they're sitting there for years, and people just come along and get little bits here and there. It's good.
No, it's fantastic. It's definitely something that we've wanted to get a pup for a long time, but we've also wanted it to be involved as a family. So we've waited till our kids are a bit bigger so that we can actually try and do it in a way that they can all be involved. So the fact that we can is fantastic.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I love that, you know, the blueprint gives people confidence to do it, and that it's helping to get kids involved and get you involved, and that's awesome for me.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate all that.
No worries, thanks Jenny, and keep us posted.
I will send you lots of photos and stuff of the kids.
Awesome.
Sounds great.
Cool.
Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
see ya. Some really common questions there. The kids and families and partners things, and the whole downtime and how to handle that, and sweet. Thanks Jenny, and yeah, again looking forward to following your guys' journey. See ya.